Alright, guys, doing say about to hop into a little reaction. First things first, make sure you like that video, dog. Hit a little exit full screen, scroll a bit, like it, and then full screen it back up. You feel I wasn't recording. Was I not recording for any of that? No? Really? I apologize. I really only recorded for 4 seconds because I hit spacebar and that took the thing away. That is so sad. I'm so sorry, y'all. Regardless, what we looked at, I'm not gonna lie, that video was so funny. The link is gonna be in the description. I strongly encourage you. That junk was hilarious, even from a believer, right? I didn't care that they were mocking and this, like, it was just funny seeing that we can refute all these things, right? I'm not laughing because I'm like, oh, the Bible's false. I'm laughing because it's like, yeah, just do some research, right? But what we did look at was, did the thieves revile him, right? This one says, this is Luke is the one that says, you'll be with me in paradise, talking about the things. This one just says they gave him the same whatever. The thieves also were crucified him, cast him in the same teeth. They also reviled him. And I just said something like, from the other standpoint, right? Nobody said we have a 100% sure thing about whether this is true or false, which one is right. But what I will say is Luke might have been a bit closer, or whoever Luke interviewed, whatever, if it was a different eyewitness, might have been a little bit closer, heard the conversation, recorded it thusly, right? Because why would he do so much detail? And the other two people might have only seen it from afar, not hearing it. And from afar, right, if Jesus was in the middle and two people are here next to him, even if they're a little bit behind, they're gonna be, this guy is gonna face here, rebuke Jesus, blah 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 blah. He's gonna turn, rebuke Jesus back, or at least look like he is, but really he's rebuking this guy over here. So you're gonna just see mad angry, like, right now. I apologize, I'm looking at the screen to make sure this looks right. Right, he's gonna all angry, and you really think it's angled at Jesus when really he's talking to the guy over here. And then he's gonna end off saying, "Don't thou fear God, seeing you're in the same condemnation? We indeed justly, because we are getting the same stuff of our deeds, but this man has done nothing wrong." And then he says, "Lord, remember me when you come into your kingdom." And then if you're really far away, he's looking angry at the first part, and then at the end he's probably like, "Lord, remember me when you come into your kingdom," earnestly, when it's probably like, "I'm so disgusted that you wouldn't save us," right? They probably just looked at it like that, like, "You're the Son of Man and you're not saving us? How pitiful." When it's really, "Lord, remember me when you come into your kingdom, please," right? Some level of reverence. Now, I'm not saying that's 100% what happened, but that's in my mind. If you've seen two people arguing in the middle of three, right? One guy's just facing forward, head down probably, and two people are yep on both sides. Probably just gonna think they're both ripping on him, but different circumstances. I'm really mad that didn't show. That video was so funny. I was cheesing the whole time. I was looking back at the camera like, yo, I'm cheesing the whole time. I'm like, like, bro, that was so funny. The link is going to be in the description. Oh my gosh, yo, that video was hilarious. I'm not gonna lie, you gotta watch it. You gotta watch it. And I made the point, the guy in the Reddit post that I was talking about, he didn't have all the answers, like, from the solo rounds and everything, but even if he did, you can refute all these things, right? 100%. If not, people wouldn't believe it. But I'm gonna leave you with this. Just do your research, right? Just do your research. Actually, there's something in the comment section down here, right? He's like, your explanation better have more power than, well, maybe it just got written down wrong or something. Yes, maybe it did, or copied wrong or something. They spoke Aramaic, it was written in Greek. Maybe somebody got it wrong. What's wrong is that the explanation for the biblical text being in the shape they were in, maybe they got written down wrong or something. That explains, let me see, everything, and requires no leaps of logic, no invented narrative glue, no convoluted excuses, no reliance on mystical, inconceived, underhand moves by an invisible deity who deemed it better to have it central, most important to his favorite species, become filled with even apparent errors, conflicts, and contradictions. How not to respond to this movie? By assuming that I have not looked into the contradictions at every level of depth, accusing me of not having tried to understand any of the deeper meaning. Whenever possible, I consulted Christians' explanations. I've given them a good go. They're just crap. By saying that these aren't errors at all, by saying they're copyist errors, they're a copyist errors in error. I don't care what kind of error it is. Just don't make the claim that the Bible is completely free of errors, except for cases in which there are errors, which are only copyist errors, which aren't really errors. If you agree with me that the English translations of the Bibles contain errors, then you must think the original Hebrew and Greek manuscripts are pure, and therefore don't. Don't tell me this and then go on to criticize me and other skeptics for pointing out that the English translation contains errors. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. That which can be asserted without evidence can be discarded without evidence. Ooh, he did cook. I know, and actually find to have some weight. The New Testament apologist conundrum, namely all the gospel accounts really did match exactly. The critics of the Bible would instantly accuse the authors of having conspired together. Wait, so if there aren't inconsistencies, it counts against the Bible. If there are no inconsistencies, it would still count against the Bible. Well, tough. The creator of the universe could have done a lot better. The only reasonable conclusion to come to is that the creative force that has arranged the constants of the universe gave birth to the galaxy, clusters, quantum physics, DNA, invented love, knowledge, truth, and capable of any miracle he could ever come up with. Had F all to do with this old raggedy contradiction of a book of bullcrap. Whenever I make a movie about what the Bible says, I'm talking about the actual words that are printed on the pages of the Bible. Funny how I always get criticized for doing so by people who agree that modern translations of the Bible are inadequate and erroneous. I was very selective deciding whether or not to include each contradiction in the script. Many that were listed on the list and the websites appeared to me in either non-contradictory, easily explained, or simply too petty to really count significantly against the claim of Bible inerrancy. I drew heavily on skepticsannotatedbible.com, which actually has links to Christian responses to each of the contradictions it lists. Where one has been put forward, I read almost all of them. The explanation sounded like a bunch of bullocks to me. Then I dismissed the explanation and included the contradiction in the script. One of the criteria used to ascertain whether I thought this was good enough was whether I thought a Christian would accept a similar explanation for a contradiction in any other religious holistic book, such as the Quran or the Book of Mormon. For example, looking into Jesus.net has pathetic explanation for one of the contradictions. Text which is called into question is Luke 2:2. If Jesus was born in the days of Herod, who presumably died in 4 BC, then how could Quirinius be the governing Syria, who presumably began his reign in 6 AD? The trouble is in the English translation of the text, not the text itself. Keep in mind that the New Testament was written in Greek, not English. Since translators were not inspired, there's a potential for erroneous things. All right, I will say this, looking into Jesus.net, that is a bad explanation, right? If Herod died in 4 BC, how could this guy be governing in Syria, which presumably in his 3 AD, or 6 AD, I'm sorry. There went out a decree from Caesar that all the world should be taxed, and this taxing was first made when, what? There went out a decree from Caesar Augustus, 14 AD he died. This dude died in 21 AD, what is he talking about? Literally, what is he talking about? Caesar Augustus made a tax law. This dude was governing Syria. Caesar Augustus was a Roman emperor. First emperor of ancient Rome. This dude, what is he talking about? This is a horrible explanation for the contradiction. You could look it up yourself and see that they don't. Where did he get 6 AD? Where did he get 4 BC and 6 AD in? Herod, who presumably died in 4 BC. It doesn't even mention Herod. It mentions Caesar Augustus. What crack is he on? Unless he's talking about another verse that he didn't bring up. Right, I'm not going to say he's 100% wrong, but I will say what he just put at the end here is definitely not right. But I definitely think all these things could be refuted. He probably just picked bad examples to look into, just like if somebody said, well, macroevolution, you know, we didn't evolve from monkeys, we have the common ancestor. Or if somebody said, we did evolve from monkeys, they just left behind the thing. And then every other evolutionist would be like, no, we actually had a common ancestor, so they evolved into monkeys and humans, right? But I just say, well, this guy at this source says that we just evolved past monkeys and like monkeys somehow left behind, so I'm just gonna rock with that one, right? It's like you're not looking at all the sources. Find a different source that clearly so many people wouldn't base their faith on this if it has so many contradictions. The world would be so dumb. I've brought this up before. I put it in a YouTube short that I don't think I posted. This would be the most studied grand delusion of all time, bro. The most studied grand delusion of all time. It wouldn't be true. All right, that's gonna be the end of the video. Hope you guys have yourselves a fantastic rest of your day. Peace.